Hello yoga community, welcome back to my channel, the best place to practice yoga for your body, mind, and soul. Today's yoga class is a Hatha yoga practice for beginners, a perfect opportunity to start your yoga journey or deepen your current yoga practice. And today's intention is I will always be a student. Take a moment to write, I will always be a student in the comments below and commit to this intention with me. For props today, I am suggesting 2 blocks. You can find the link to purchase these props in the description below, but these are suggested, not required. Okay, yogis, let's start this practice in child's pose balasana. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I'll meet you there. All right, child's pose is a very traditional posture. It's very grounding, very nurturing, and a great place to center and start our yoga practice together. As you can see, my knees are quite wide on the yoga mat. You can bring your knees to whatever comfortable distance is right for your body today in your yoga practice. So find that comfortable knee width distance for yourself. And once you arrive there, begin to hinge at the hip crease and walk the fingertips forward, really lengthening out of the side body. And then as you do that, relax the chest and the forehead down towards the mat. If this is really difficult for you, absolutely, you can place a block or any type of prop here to bring the floor to you. And this feels quite nice for me as well. Let yourself sigh out and exhale. Invite yourself to arrive into this moment. Committing to that intention, I will always be a student. And beginning to connect your hearing with your breathing. Hearing that oceanic sound as you inhale and exhale. Deepening the breath and feeling your belly expand. Rise and fall, contract on the exhale. Taking these next few moments to deepen and connect your hearing with your breathing here. On the next inhale, gently lift your head and your gaze. If you have a prop, place it off to the side, please. And walk your whole torso over to the right. Inhale to lengthen the spine. Exhale to fold back down. And now channel your breath from your left pinky finger down towards your left hip. Next inhale, lift the gaze, walk yourself back through to center and take it over to the left now. Tiptoe the fingers over, big inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, soften the chest and the forehead down to the mat. And this time channeling the breath from the right hip point all the way up to the right pinky finger and back down again. Inhale, lift the gaze, walk back through to center, and meet me in tabletop, stacking the wrists underneath the shoulders and the knees underneath the hips, making a tabletop position, right? Firming the body and really pushing down into the earth plane to lift back up again. We'll start with sunbird, which is a really classical posture that helps us build strength, stability, and also cultivate balance. Extend the right leg back in space, keep the toes tucked under, and you can even push back a little bit here and find a really nice calf stretch. I like to bob back and forth. And now shift your weight back over onto your hands, stacking the shoulders over the wrists. And I'm going to talk a lot today about the inseam. And what I'm referring to here is the inner thigh. So right now, bring your awareness to the right inner thigh or the inseam. And with that awareness here, begin to energize your right leg and extend the right leg high. As you extend the right leg high, reach through the inseam of the right thigh. What that's going to do is roll the right hip point down and help keep the pelvis in a neutral state in place. Breathe here. Right inseam of the thigh is rolling up towards the sky. Leg is energized. We're hugging the navel in, corseting the midline. And now begin to extend your gaze just a little bit in front of you. Really lock that space and place into your gaze. And if you feel comfortable, extend the left arm straight out in front of you. Take your time. Remembering our intention today, I will always be a student. Noticing if you're craning the neck, can you create length in the back of the neck too? And really lengthen from the right toes all the way through the left fingertips. One more breath here. Exhale, release everything down to the yoga mat. Extend the left leg back behind you. Curl the toes under again. And if you want, come into that bobbing up and down, finding that really juicy calf stretch here. In my own body, the calves do not get enough love. Shifting the weight back so the shoulders are over the wrists. And again, bring that awareness to the left inner thigh, so the inseam. And once you've got that awareness and the left leg is energized, reach that left leg up, leading with the inseam. Notice, did my left hip point pop up? Can I roll it down as I reach through the left inner thigh? Corset the midline, gaze forward, decide, am I staying here today? Great. Or am I extending my right arm out long, reaching from left toes to right fingertips? Breathing here, knowing I can fall out and come right back in again. I will always be a student. Another breath. Exhale everything down to the mat. Curl the toes under. We're coming into downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana, foundational posture in the yoga practice. Spread the fingertips and grip the yoga mat and begin to send the hips high to the sky as you keep the chest close to the front thigh bones. So send the hips back. You might need to step the feet back and create more distance here. You're in a V shape, right? The departure points are the hands and the feet. So really push down through these points of the body and find this synergistic relationship with the earth plane. It's providing strength and structure and stability, which is allowing you to find some space in the body. What I really like to focus on here is pushing down through my thumb and pointer finger, firming my forearms, and then wrapping my armpits towards the heart. This is the upper body, and allow the chest to soften towards the thigh bones. And simultaneously, I'm lifting my sacrum or my tailbone or my pelvis towards the sky. And I've got a nice bend in the knees, so I feel light here. And I'm pushing down through the balls of my feet. Really actively pushing down. That was a lot of instructional cues. So take 3 breaths here to integrate, and you can always soften to your knees to take a break. Next, inhale, lead with the left inner thigh or left inseam and reach the left leg high to the sky. Great work. Sweep that left foot through. You can come to a knee to nose for a little bit of core and step the left foot through. Find your blocks if you're using them and sandwich them around the left foot. You're on the ball of the right back foot here. We're in a runner's lunge. So knee is stacked over the ankle, lots of length from the back right heel through the crown of the head. This left hip point, we also want it going back in space. So you can bring your thumb into that hip crease and manually adjust yourself here. Let's take 3 deep breaths. Soften the right knee down, untuck the toe. Now this is something my yoga teacher says to me, stay in the fold here. So you've got this beautiful fold happening here at the hip crease. Stay there and reach the fingertips high to the sky. Low lunge, Anjaneyasana. From the back right foot, roll the pinky edge toe down. Scissor through the inner thighs. Reach your hip points up towards the rib cage so that the core firms, and energize all the way through the inner elbows, through the fingertips, up towards the sky. Feel that spaciousness and strength. Exhale, let's bring the hands down, set the blocks off to the side, and step back into downward facing dog. You're gonna lift your hips, sweep the left leg back. That's a strange transition when you're new to the practice. It'll get easier with time. And take a whole breath in downward facing dog. Inhale, shift forward to plank. Shoulders are a little bit past the wrists here. Again, push the earth plane away, course it into the midline, energize the legs. We're gonna lower all the way to the belly. You can bring your knees down to do that. As we lower, shift the shoulders even further forward, bend at the elbows, and lower all the way down to the belly. Beautiful. Bring the forearms out in front of you. Let's start in Sphinx pose. I love this posture. Great posture to build up to cobra pose, which is what we'll do next, and then upward facing dog. So the elbows are slightly forward of the shoulders, the wrists are in line with the elbows, the fingers are spreading wide. Push the earth plane away and feel that reciprocity, that relationship you're having with the foundation beneath you. And now bring your awareness to the toes and let's work our way up the body. Roll the pinky edge toe side down. And when you do that, the inseam of the thigh will naturally roll up. Ever so slightly, the sacrum or pelvis or tailbone is reaching towards the heels, which brings a gentle firming to the abdomen. And then as you push the forearms into the earth plane, expand and broaden through the chest and lift through the sternum here. Lift all the way up. We're going to do all of this in cobra pose next. Take one more breath here. Exhale, lower down. Slide the hands by the ribs. Curl the toes under. Push up onto your knees, maybe plank pose, and meet back in downward facing dog. Great work. Whole breath here. Inhale the right leg high, lead with the inseam. Exhale, knee to nose, maybe pop some core work in there. Step the right foot through, gather your props on either side of the right foot. We're back in runner's lunge. You're on the ball of the back left foot, the heel's going high to the sky. You're lengthening from that heel all the way through the crown of the head. The knee is over the ankle. And again, I want to bring your awareness to the inseam of the left thigh. Check yourself out. Feel that. Can you roll this up towards the sky, up towards the sky? And take 3 breaths here. Lower that left knee down, untuck the toes, put the blocks off to the side, and stay in that hip crease. Stay in the fold and reach your fingertips up towards the sky for Anjaneyasana. Exhale, plant the hands, transition back to downward facing dog. Whole breath here. Inhale forward to plank. Exhale, lower all the way down to the belly. Keep the hands by the low ribs, and we're going to do that Sphinx pose action, but we're going to lift the chest this time. So rest the forehead on the ground. This is going to require more strength and muscle activity from the upper mid back. Energize the legs, roll the pinky edge toe down, inseam of the thigh rolls up, tailbone comes down, core firms, and on an inhale, push down through your hands to lift the chest up. Hold here. This is a baby cobra. You should feel your backside firing. Magnetize the elbows towards one another. Relax the shoulders down. Feel the broadening of the chest. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Last inhale. Exhale, lower down. Take it back, child's pose. One whole breath once you arrive in Balasana. Come back into downward facing dog. A whole breath here. If you're starting to feel warmer, you can begin to take the bend out of the knees, and you're going to feel a lot more sensation. If it's too much, invite that bend back into the practice. Inhale to gaze forward and tiptoe your way towards the top of the mat. Once you arrive there, inhale, lift up halfway. This is Ardha Uttanasana. Slide the hands up the shins towards the knees. Knees are bent. And again, lengthen from tailbone to crown. Firm the abdomen in. Beautiful work. I will always be a student. Exhale, fold. Keep the knees generously bent. Relax head and neck and begin to roll up like a yoga zombie. So the whole upper body stays limp. Use the strength of your abdomen to roll you up. Head and neck come last. Take a big breath. Excellent work so far. Excellent work so far. Coming into a favorite of many, Utkatasana. So we want the feet hip width distance, which is a 2-fist measurement. So bring yourself there. On an inhale, sit your hips way back. So weight in the heels and send the hip creases back, 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 back. And let's start with our hands at prayer. First, check out our feet. Make sure we can feel the backside of the body turning on by keeping the weight in the heels. You can even energetically send the shins back. Stay low, low, low. The midline is firming in. And we're finding this small back bend here. If you feel like, yes, I've got that, I want you to reach the inner elbows all the way through the fingertips high to the sky. This is also called awkward pose because it is awkward. Take another breath. Another breath. And exhale, fold down into Uttanasana, forward fold. Start to heel toe the feet to the edge of the mat. Toes out, heels in. and slowly lower your hips all the way down for Malasana Yogi Squat. A great way to prop up this pose is to add a block here. Awesome. I love this modification. If you're not using the prop, awesome too. Either way, we want all of us to have the elbows inside of the knee here and pushing the legs out to find an inner thigh stretch and also rebound and lift through the chest. Stay and hold. I will always be a student. Okay, on an inhale, let's push down through our heels and lift all the way up. Here we go. Reach those fingertips high. Great work. Bring them down through heart center. Okay, let's move through two really classic standing postures. Come to the middle of your mat like me and heel toe the feet out until they're a really nice distance away from one another. And you can always shift the distance, change it as we get into the pose. We're coming into Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. The right foot is going to be our leading front foot, so spin that toe out. And this back foot, spin it in and kick the heel out. Great, okay? So again, toe in, heel out, right foot is straight. Now begin to bend this front knee over the ankle. And if you feel like, whoa, this is way too deep, just start to heel toe the back foot in and come up out of it so that your leg is at a 45-degree angle instead of a 90. Or if you want more space, heel toe the foot further away. Toes in, heel out. Front knee is over the ankle and the knee is tractioning towards the pinky edge toe. And you're really pushing down through the earth plane and creating this stable foundation. The next piece is reach through the crown of the head and extend through the arms here. The whole body is working. This is an integrated experience. Body, mind, and soul on the mat. Last inhale. Exhale, hands to the hips, straighten the front leg and heel toe the back foot in some. We're coming into Trikonasana triangle pose. Again, toes are slightly in, heels are kicked out, and we have a heel to arch alignment happening. Front heel to the back arch. Hands at the hips, big inhale, lengthen up through the crown of the head. Exhale to hinge at the hips as the torso reaches towards the right foot. Torso reaching towards the right foot. Find your depth. How far can you extend? And then this right hand, find a place to rest it on. I like it right underneath my knee and to spider up onto my fingertips. From here, begin to rotate the chest open. And if you feel comfortable, left hand to the sky. Legs are super active. The midline is pulling in towards itself. You can gaze up at your left thumb. If that doesn't feel good, gaze straight out in front of you or down at your front foot. Last breath here. Exhale to bend the front knee, windmill back up, and heel toe the feet in. Let's go to the other side. So the left toes now kick out for Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2 on the left side. The back right foot, toes out, toes in, heel out. Excuse me. This is a beginner class, so we're getting like real nitty gritty. Begin to bend the left knee, over the ankle, or maybe you're at a 45-degree stance because that's what your body needs. So find your foundation and firm it into place, right? We're not hanging in the joints. We're finding that relationship with the earth plane. It's synergistic, it's reciprocal. Once you feel like, yes, I've got it, strength, structure, stability, lengthen up through the core and extend through the fingertips. You're doing great. Remember our intention. I will always be a student. Hands to hips, straighten the front leg, heel toe the back foot in a bit. Coming into Trikonasana triangle pose, big inhale. Exhale, hinge at the hips. The left hip descends as the right hip rises. Reach your torso out as far as you can comfortably go. Legs are firm, they're active. Left fingertips come to wherever's comfortable for you. It could be that you're advanced and you've got your peace fingers wrapped around your big toe, or you're on a block, yeah? And then roll the chest open. Keep the hand right here on the hip, or extend right hand to the sky, gazes at the thumb, straight out in front of you or at the left foot. Let's take a few breaths here. If your gaze is up, look down for balance, bend the front leg, windmill up, heel toe the feet in. Great work. Let's come into a wide-legged forward fold. Big inhale, breath, hands at the hips, reach up through the whole body with that inhale. Exhale, fold at the hip creases. So fold right here at the hip crease, all the way down. Whew, my legs are like, whoa, it's a big stretch, because it is a big stretch. Firm the whole lower body, bring the weight into the toes, and now you can release the fingertips to the ground and let the head and neck relax here. I want you to think, how can I get length through my spine? So instead of rounding into yourself, how can you lengthen out of the pelvis? Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, bring the hands to the hips. Such a strong posture. Inhale, lift all the way up. I will always be a student. Heel toe the feet together and start to come down to a kneeling posture. We're making our way down to the earth plane. Roll up the back of your yoga mat. If you have a blanket, you can use a blanket. This is a great way to tip the pelvis forward and help us rest right atop the perineum and get more length in the spine. Yeah? Extend both legs out. Energize the legs. Push down through the hands. Great. Bring the left hand underneath the left knee and slide the left foot into yourself. Okay, from here, the left hand goes back as a kickstand. Inhale, reach the right arm high. Exhale, twist towards the left knee, and you can wrap the hand here, which is what I recommend. Or if you're further along in your practice, you can bring the right elbow to the outside of the left knee. I'm going to recommend, though, if you're new, you're wrapping this right elbow around the left knee. And what I want you to focus on here is pushing down through the right heel and the left hip, the left sitting bone, and lengthening up on the inhale and finding the smallest amount of deepening on the exhale. As you hold here and breathe, really send your breath into the back, specifically the low back, or anywhere that you're currently feeling resistance, tension. Send your breath there. Last inhale. Exhale, unfurl your body. Extend the left leg long. Bring the right hand underneath the right knee. Slide the right foot in. The right hand goes back as the kickstand. Remember, inhale, reach through the left hand as you push down through the left heel and start to twist towards the right side of the body. I'm recommending that you wrap your left arm around your right knee and continue pushing down through the left heel, the right sitting bone, your kickstand in the back. That's your inhale, you're lengthening, and your exhale is you are ever so slightly finding a deepening of the twist. Sending your breath to the low back region or anywhere where you're feeling resistance. Last inhale. Exhale, slowly unwind. Beautiful work. Extend the right leg out. Let's take 3 breaths here in Dandasana. Really energize the legs, push down through the hands, lift the chest. Can you energize the legs so much that maybe the heels slightly lift off the ground, toes are flexed back towards the face? And release. Unroll the back of your mat and meet me all the way lying down. Coming into bridge pose. This is a great way to build stability, and also it's a great back bend that we're going to move into. Palms down by your sides. The feet are knee width distance or hip width distance. On an inhale breath, push down through all 4 corners of your feet and lift your hips towards the sky. Inhale here and lift. Keep your knees tractioning forward and over your ankles and toes. Notice if your toes are lifting up and you're doing wonky things with your feet here. And now, if you're new to the yoga practice, I'm going to recommend you stay here. You're getting a really nice mild back bend through the chest region. Back of the neck is long. You're building strength in the posterior body, which is the backside body. And if you're more seasoned, you might want to roll one shoulder under and another shoulder under and find that clasp. Push down through the knife edge of the forearm and lift the hips even higher for even more of a chest expander. Let's all take 3 more breaths here. Everyone slowly come down on the next exhale, releasing each vertebra slowly down to the mat, and pause for a moment here. Feel the effects of this amazing transformative practice. Beautiful. Happy baby pose, and we'll be resting in Savasana soon. Knees come towards the chest and flex the feet up towards the sky. Imagine a baby in its crib. And for those of us who are working on mobility, flexibility, hands can clasp right here, anywhere that you can grab on the lower leg, and pull the knees down towards the armpits. Some of you might want to wrap peace fingers around the big toes. That feels really nice. But wherever you are, lower the tailbone down towards the mat. There's other variations of this pose, but I really like feeling the back of my skull all the way down to my tailbone, making a connection with the yoga mat. It gives me this sense of grounding and also extension in the spinal column. So often we're combating compression, right? I work at a computer all day, so my spine is in a compressed state. This is why I love stamping the tailbone back down onto the mat and having the skull also connecting too. And you can rock from side to side just like a baby would. Feeling a sense of joyousness and joyfulness and bliss. A sense of peace and ease, contentment. Last big inhale, and I invite you to sigh it out the mouth with the exhale. Bring the heels towards themselves, release whatever clasp you had, knees come into the chest, rock from side to side. And when you feel ready, if you're like, yes, I am full from this practice, extend one leg out and the other. For my seasoned practitioners, you might have another pose you want in your practice today. But I'm inviting all of us into Shavasana, the final resting pose. Feet as wide as the yoga mat, if not wider. The toes splay out as the heels draw in. Palms rest down by your sides. And begin to relax every body part. Toes, heels, ankles, lower leg, knees, thighs, pelvis, the abdomen, the chest region, fingers, wrists, forearm, elbow, upper arm, shoulders, the collarbone, the entire throat, back of the neck. Let your skull become heavy. The jaw softens. The tongue floats. Eyes softly closed, sinking into the back of the skull. Resting here, integrating that movement, integrating your body, your mind, and soul. And giving yourself permission to feel whole. I invite you to stay here and rest longer. And if you feel complete, invite subtle movements into your body, fingers and toes, ankles and wrists. You can begin to swallow and enliven your breath. Feel the belly rise and fall. On the next inhale, walk the legs in towards one another and reach the arms overhead. And feel this sense of rebirth and rejuvenation and new opportunity. Bend both knees, shift your hips over to one side, and come onto your favorite side for fetal pose. That bottom arm acts as a pillow for you. Returning to our intention, I will always be a student. Making your way up to a seated posture, keeping the eyes gently closed. Once you arrive there, sit up nice and tall. Sweep the arms out to the side. Gather up this new beginnings, this feeling of, yes, I am always a student and I can try new things. Palms touch and hug your palms down into your chest. Anjali Mudra is what you might hear it called here, with hands at prayer. And we'll close with this unifying vibration of Om. I love closing my classes like this. If you're new, you can listen or you can join in. Big inhale breath. Another breath to seal that in. Begin to open your eyes and welcome yourself back into the physical space. Excellent job today on the yoga mat. It's my greatest hope that you feel more whole in your body, mind, and soul. To continue or deepen your yoga journey with me, check out these resources here and here. And if you haven't already, please make sure you also subscribe to my channel here, okay? So now is the challenge to take our yoga off the mat and bring it into our daily lives. Namaste. Thank you for joining me.